Welcome to the farm tour. Are you ready for it? Let's go.
So we'll start off from here. So these are maize stalks and grass piled on top of the soil mulch on raised beds. I intend to do most of the growing of crops like beans and the sort from this for reasons that I will explain in a separate video. At the extreme back, you see some banana plants with a couple of trees. With coffee, we shall move around in a circle and somehow end up there in one way or another. But what you see right here are actually maize stalks from the previous season that I used to cover the soil. So looking just below the beds, you can see a couple of fruit trees. There are pawpaws, avocados, mangoes, jackfruit with some oranges. Again, you can see jackfruit in the background just behind there, and then more grass over here. This is bracharia grass to provide mulch, but also will be used to feed the rabbits. And moving from here, it leads us to a slightly bushy part on the farm with a couple of trees, and it leads us exactly to this. Wow. Oh, it rained yesterday night, and this tree fell and it will be removed, but that won't disrupt us from the beauty of the rabbit shelter. So the rabbits will be staying here, and we are going to put a few cages inside there where the rabbits might be housed. And well, I am tempted to go in there, but there isn't much to show you at the moment. So moving upwards, just above the rabbit shelter, there is the Moringa garden, and this Moringa is about a year old. It's already fruiting and providing seeds. So I intend to plant more Moringa using the seeds I've actually got from these particular Moringa trees. And moving on to the hilly part of the farm, we find the biggest bulk of the farm, the coffee garden. Just below those line of stones is a trench where the water moves, and those trenches are horizontal across the farm, and they are connected by channels, just like one which you see at the extreme right now. So the coffee, those small bushes that you see across, is mixed with a few banana plants to provide shade. The trenches are the ones that I use to move within the farm. So moving within the trench, you can see this coffee is about a year old, but now we are going on the side of the garden that has younger coffee, about 6 months old. Those small white things which you see in the trench are actually maize. The maize stalks were cut and used to cover the raised beds, and then this maize is still being collected to be taken to the store. So here you can see one of the channels that connects the lower trench to the upper trench. Remember, the trenches are horizontal across the garden, and they are connected by these channels. Now you can see below this trench there is a line of coffee, and above it is another line of coffee, and then above that there is a line of plantain. Moving up, just to have a clearer view of the channel, you can see that these channels that connect the trenches are moving in circles. They are snake-like, they are not straight, and they have steps of stones in them. So turning around to look where we are coming from, you can see very clearly now the trench in which we are moving, with the rabbit house in the background and the Graveria robusta tree at the extreme left. Moving up to another trench above, again you can see it is lined with stones above it, and there's another channel connecting on its upper end with bananas just running across and coffee again running across. And turning around to see where we are coming from, you can see this is really hilly land, and wow, isn't it lovely from the top? But don't take it for granted. Climbing up here is no joke. You can barely keep your breath if you're not fit. So moving to the older part of the garden, the very first coffee that I planted, you can see it's already ripening. We have some red, and isn't it beautiful? You just can't see that red and not fall in love with it. Okay, so a couple of them are turning, not so many, but some of them already are turning red and mature. Now, looking at the other aspects of the garden, you can really see that there are very many bare rocks on the surface. These were huge. I've removed most of the rocks and put them in the trenches and the channels, but some are too huge to move, and they are still lying on the surface, like those you see in the upper end. So the land is hilly and it is rocky, and so um, quite a tricky land to use. Now, this is an upper view of the older coffee, and you can see how beautiful the coffee looks like. Isn't it lovely? So just one more trench with a channel moving from it. Again, you can see the channels aligned with sides and steps of stones and moving in circles to ensure that the water in there doesn't move so fast. We'll talk some more later on that. So again, coming down back to the beds, you can see there's a strip of grass, bracharia grass, to work as mulch. And then on the sides of the beds, some of the maize that we have planted on the farm. So you see at this point that we actually have beans, we have maize, we have coffee, we have bananas, we have plantain, and some forage and a bunch of fruit trees on the farm. So coming to the apiary, you can notice these bees very active and very busy going about their work. And wow, these ladies here can sting, but if you treat them right, they'll give you some honey. Every man knows that. All right, so going down to the farmhouse. So the farmhouse has 2 rooms and 1 store, and then a latrine on the other end. So that makeshift shelter, just between that makeshift iron sheet shelter and the house, there's a room on the other side at the right, just like you've seen. That's where I stay when I'm on the farm. So going down to the access road, you notice immediately that there are trees planted in the access road, and someone over there is trying to fix that so that we make our own road in order for me to access the land. So just below is a newer part of the farm that we purchased in order to address one of the mistakes we made initially when purchasing the first land. We didn't have water, and this land primarily we added it to the farm for purposes of getting water. It's just new. Yeah, that's the sound of life, guys. Water is the life of the farm. So on this other end, this was a very bushy thicket because it has constant water. So there was a bush there. We are trying to clear it and reclaim it so that we can make it functional.
You must be tired after climbing up and down those hills. There's actually a lot that is happening even right now, and I expect to be sharing another farm tour in a few weeks' time so that you get the updates. See you.